This is the Tech Phantom, and welcome to episode 8 of this Dark Souls Easy Mode walkthrough. The next 2 or 3 episodes are going to be approximately 20 minutes long, and that is going to allow me to catch up a little bit. I'm a little bit behind on posting videos, but the next 3 should come out very quickly, and I think they're going to be short but the perfect length to show you some of the areas that we're going to go through. So in this video we are going to progress through Sen's Fortress, and obviously the goal of this easy mode walkthrough is to try to get through the areas with as little problems as possible, with facing as little risks as possible. And we don't have a lot of vitality or a lot of endurance, but we are making up for that with very good equipment, a maxed out shield, and with just a ton of offensive firepower from our sorcerer. And we are going to be using the homing soul mass on these enemies. By the way, the man serpent enemies in this area can drop the man serpent greatsword, and that is a very good sword for strength builds. So if you are a strength build and you're looking for a good weapon, you can farm the man serpents after you've opened up Sen's Fortress, and the man serpent greatsword is an outstanding weapon for strength builds. Okay, so in a previous video we picked up the soul item that was in the scorps here to the left. In this video we are going to go through this illusory wall, and the reason we want to do that is to have access to the rooftop. And here we see the giant. There are actually 3 giants in Sen's Fortress. This is the giant that opened up the door to Sen's Fortress after we rang the second Bell of Awakening. And we take him out very safely at distance with Soul Spear. And the reason we did that is not only because he gives us 3,000 souls, but more importantly because he dropped a Titanite chunk, which is actually a very useful item, and we will put it to use shortly here over the next couple of videos. Alright, so we are going to continue on our merry way in Sen's Fortress. Now, in a previous video we freed Logan, so we actually went about halfway through this level. In this level we're going to continue. We're going to open up a shortcut, and we are going to take on the boss of Sen's Fortress. But first things first, we're going to take out this man serpent, and I'm using the archway to shield me from the serpent that is shooting lightning magic at us. And actually that lightning attack is actually a magical attack, which is why the crest shield blocks most of its damage. And I'm going to go around the serpent and trip this trap and just simply have the blow darts take out the serpent. And I pick up some large Titanite shards, and this is the area where we freed Logan in the previous video. So there's no need to worry about that area. We can continue on. And we wait for the boulder to drop down. And we rush up the steps. And as long as you have fast roll, you should be able to get through that area very quickly. And I thought I could make it, but I didn't. But that's okay. What I want to do is I want to drop down, and I wanted to do a plunging attack on the serpent, and I thought the serpent was dead, which is why I healed. I should have just waited till to make sure. But there's a soul item here, and over in this little path we are going to find the Black Sorcerer set. And again, if you're wondering why the set is here and how it's related to the lore, check out my walkthrough that's specific and that focuses on the lore of Dark Souls. We also picked up the Hush Sorcery, which will prevent our steps from making any kind of noise. And that can be a useful sorcery if you want to move stealthily about and you don't want to make sound that could tip off some of the enemies here. And now I'm going to go through these 4 pendulums, and the trick to going through the pendulums is to start running as soon as the pendulum in front of you, the first pendulum, is right at its center point. It's right above the pathway. And I'm going to take out these serpents with homing soul mast very easily. Now you don't have to do this, but if you want, you can take out the serpent with great soul arrow. And I think soul spear probably would have killed that enemy in one hit. Again, you don't need to do this, but just in case, if you don't want to be dodging attacks while you're walking through here, you can take out that enemy. And you saw that I rested in between those 4 pendulums. That's the way that I do it. It's actually possible to run across all 4 pendulums, but I think it's a little bit safer to rest in between, so that's what I do. And finally, we come up here and we pick up a large soul, and you notice these scorched areas on the ground, and that's from flaming boulders that another giant is throwing at us. So we are going to rest at the bonfire, and we are going to clear the path forward, and we don't want to have to worry about the exploding boulders. So first thing on the agenda, first item in the agenda is to take out the giant. So you could see he's throwing boulders at us, and the scorched or the burnt areas in the ground give you an idea of where the boulders hit. So I'm just gonna make my way all the way up to the tower where the giant is. And here's a couple of cages that act as shortcuts, and we will get to those in a little bit. Now this is not the most efficient path, but this is the easiest path, and it's gonna take us a little bit longer to go in this direction, but that's okay. This is easy mode after all, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take out the giant. So at the bonfire, we refreshed our stock of soul spears. And sometimes the giant does this spaz attack where he just starts pounding and stomping, and after that he takes a little bit of a break. But he should be no problem with Soul Spear. When he swings, just hold up your shield and you should be fine, even if you take a hit. Alright, there's the boss door, and we could actually go through the boss door right now and we could take out the boss, but there's a couple of things that we want to do. So we're gonna, first of all, we're going to open up a shortcut, and we need to make this jump. And if you stay to the left and you jump at the very last possible minute, you should be able to make the jump. And we find a merchant. And this is one of the Knights of Berenique that attempted to go through this area and was basically stuck. And he's kind of depressed that he couldn't make it through. And he doesn't expect anybody else to make it through, and he kind of poo-poos our attempts at getting through Sen's Fortress. And you saw me buy the boulder shield from him. Now the boulder shield can actually be farmed from Knights of Berenique, but I just like to buy it. That way I have it on my inventory, and I don't have to worry about farming. Alright, I've gotten a key, and now I've homeward bound back to the bonfire. And now I'm going to be spending some of the soul items that I've picked up so far so that I can level up. And I'm going to continue to level up intelligence. Now at this point, guys, you don't need to do intelligence. You can do endurance. That would be an alternate, maybe slightly safer build, and that's because more endurance is going to allow you to absorb more powerful hits with your shield. But or you can just do what I did, which is to continue with intelligence. Okay, now there's also a couple of other enemies here that we are going to take out. One is an armor knight, and he stands guard right here. And he is also another Knight of Baronique, similar to the Merchant. And we're going to take him out with Soul Spear. As you can see, his shield doesn't have very high magic defense, and we were able to take him out with a couple of shots of Soul Spear. And now we're going to find a fairly difficult enemy. He is Prince Ricard, and he has a bow, but he also has a rapier. And the rapier has a special attack, special strong attack, either with one hand or with two hands, that hits multiple times. So I'm just going to step back, and I'm just going to do Homing Soul Mass, do all the work, and he is going to drop his rapier. We're not going to use it because it has high dex requirements, and we will get a weapon that's better suited to a sorcerer later on. And here we find a Divine Blessing and a rare Ring of Sacrifice, which is why we came here, to get the rare Ring of Sacrifice. And now you can either Homeward Bone back to the bonfire, or like I'm doing here is you can just pace back, retrace your steps, and as you can tell so far with this build, Sen's Fortress has been an absolute cakewalk. Okay, so we have a key. So we are going to open up a shortcut, and you stand next to the cage on the left, and here you can actually go inside and then jump out. I didn't do it quickly enough, so I actually went all the way down, and this will allow you to get back to the bonfire in Undead Parish. That's the shortcut. And since I'm here, I had forgotten that I picked up the sold item that was in front of Sen's Fortress, so I decided to go and check to see if I picked it up. So sorry about that, guys. Just a little forgetful there, and there is no need to do what I'm doing. I could have just stayed in the cage and gone back up, but I had forgotten that I picked up the soul item, so I'm going to go check. And I'm just going to use Homing Soul Mass on these serpents, the man serpents. They didn't drop their sword. And there's the corpse with the soul item that I had already picked up. Okay, so I very quickly came back up and Homeward Bone back to the bonfire, and that refreshed all of my spells. And now I can level up again, and one of the principles that we're following is not to go into a boss fight with a lot of souls. So since we have enough souls to level up, let's level up again. And I'm trying to decide here whether I should level up endurance finally, or whether I should level up something else. And at the end, I end up leveling up strength as opposed to endurance. So I'm still with base level endurance for this character. Alright, so we are now ready for the boss fight. We have pretty much explored all of Sense Fortress. We didn't explore the lower area that has um, a fire resist ring, and there is also, I believe, a heavy crossbow that you can pick up here, but those are not going to be very useful items for us, so we are going to ignore them. And we are going to go into the boss fight. And we're going to make our way up to the fog gate. And we can take out that Boulder Knight with our spear. And this Boulder Knight has a high rate of drop for his equipment and for Titanite shards, both regular and large shards. Alright, so we're going to use Power Within prior to the boss fight. And we're going to go through the fog gate. And there is the Iron Golem. He starts the boss fight with an AoE, or actually with a projectile attack from his axe. And while he walks towards us, we just take our time and we fire Soul Spear at him. And that's it, guys. Easy mode, engage. So that boss fight didn't last long at all. If you want to go through this area even quicker, what you can do is you can just ignore the bonfire and come directly up to the fight. And even if you haven't taken out the giant, you can stay on the far side of the boss fight area, and then you can just keep going through his legs while you cast Homing Soul Mass, and that will also take him out. Not as quickly as Soul Spear, but it will take him out pretty quickly as well, as long as you dodge his attacks. Alright, so after the Iron Golem fight, we've achieved a little bit of a milestone in the game, and we are magically transported to Anor Londo. And this is the City of the Gods. It's a beautiful location, and we're rewarded with a very, very cool cutscene that gives us an overview of Anor Londo. And here we are in Anor Londo. We still have Power Within draining our life, so I'm going to take an Estus Flask. I don't need it, but just in case, I'm going to take it. And we are going to see a new enemy, and these are Sentinels. And there are two types. There are the regular Sentinels, and later on we will see larger versions that are called Royal Sentinels. But there's no need to take them on right now. We're looking for the bonfire. And that is going to do it for this video, guys. In the next video, we will start exploring Anor Londo. I hope you enjoy this easy mode stroll through Sense Fortress. This is the Tech Phantom signing off.